Hello everyone and welcome back to round 5 of our F124 driver career mode. Yes, we're back this weekend for our first sprint of the new season. Yes, sprint racing has completely changed inside to F124, and also because we've got Miami sprint next time round, you guys are getting a lot of F124 for your money today. 4 races, effectively, will be going out live on the channel, so make sure you get yourself subscribed if you are new around here. You can see last weekend now from Suzuka, we didn't actually gain any overall rating. We are still sat at 68 overall, but we are hopefully going to see more and more upgrades going onto the car as we head into this weekend. Then Nico Hülkenberg are bringing a couple of upgrades to the team, and we're going to try and get another one on ready for the next round out in Miami. So hopefully we're going to see all those rock onto the car with no problems, and it looks like we have there. So fantastic news as we head to Shanghai.
Have them with us for the next Grand Prix.
And there we go. That means we have now jumped Visa Cash App Racing Bulls, and we should hopefully jump Alpine as well in the very near future. So hopefully, we had a bit of a drought yesterday. We didn't score any points across either of the races. Maybe that'll change today. I mean, we've got 4 chances, so I certainly hope so. Well, for those of you that aren't aware, the way sprint qualifying in kind of the whole sprint weekend, I think for the first time ever, is actually accurate to real life. Inside the F1 game, it has been one of the funny things where the sprint format every year seems to have changed. Never before have EA or Codemasters been able to get it bang on ready for the game, but finally that has been altered for this year's title. So of course, obviously we go through free practice, we then have sprint qualifying, sprint race, and the real qualifying and the real race. They've also actually interestingly implemented the tyre rules as well. Ready for qualifying, so that's going to make sprint qualifying even more interesting, being forced to use the medium tyres. So to be honest, we don't really have a lot of time to focus on free practice, so I'm going to go ahead and do all these behind the scenes. And I think I'm going to see you guys out into qualifying. However, we have got a perfect score so far on this track acclimatization. I really don't want to let Logan Sargent ruin that at the end of the lap. So I'm going to do it for myself anyway. And it was Alex Albon, not Logan Sargent. Well, fast forwarding our way into qualifying then. I don't know if it's been an oversight by the developers or just a very, very interesting strategy twist. But you've actually got full use of 2 sets of mediums and a set of the soft compound tyres as we move into qualifying then. So Shanghai, honestly, has always been a track I've struggled with against the AI. So it's actually the first weekend this season where we haven't upped the AI level. So I don't know kind of how ethically I feel about trying to utilize the soft compound tyres. I guess if the AI do, then I kind of have to. But otherwise, is it going to be a really, really cheesy strat if we need it to get into Q2 again? Of course, this is a sprint qualifying, so we have only got 12 minutes to try and get some times on the board. Luckily, that should also be enough to see us get 2 runs in. And, well, I must admit, yeah, the S's have often been quite a scary part of this place, but with how much grit you've got this year, it is made a whole lot easier. And I think, honestly, that's one of those corners where it really actually does benefit from it, because it feels a lot more fun as well. IRL once more, and I mean, sprint qualifying easily the most exciting part of the weekend when this race ran a few weeks back. But will it be the same kind of excitement today? We go P5. Well, I guess that question then has kind of been answered for me here, but we're going to have to try and keep an eye out. Everyone else on their final Q1 run. But if, obviously, we stay inside the top 15, then I'm going to instantly bail out of our run to try and save this set of tyres ready for future use. Obviously, very, very limited, so, you know, all those micro little changes that you make could prove really, really important there. As we drop down to P14, are we going to see anyone else go quickly? I mean, Verstappen, yeah, right down on the cusp, as a few of our front runners trying to make it through. I believe, though, we will stay P14, so immediately I'm going to abandon that. And that should be us into Q2. Very, very weird strategies required early on this weekend, but is Carlos Sainz fastest at the end of Q1? No surprises at the other end of the field. Hülkenberg, I've watched other people's series, even in our other series on this game, he's not this bad. inside F124, so I don't know why he's chosen to be so useless with us at Haas. But yeah, now let's see if we can make it into Sprint Q3. Well, yeah, this has certainly created a very, very odd dynamic. Bottas, those Kick Saubers, Logan Sargent, obviously because they use the softs in Q1, have had to go back out on the same set of softs for Q2 because they still believe they're faster than using a set of mediums here. So we might be able to make it into Sprint Q3 in one of the weirdest ever ways possible. Unfortunately, though, I have only got time for the one run, so we need to try and get on with it here as well. I mean, that first corner, you really are just praying at some point that the car is going to find the apex. That time around, we did okay. Well, I can only assume that this has been a weird little oversight by Cody's so far. Yeah, very, very odd rules in qualifying, but I mean, it has added to the strategy, I guess. This second lap, though, was felt okay, but I don't think it's any improvement on the run we did in Sprint Q1. As we make our way through the final corner, are we going to snook our way into Q3? We go through. No, we don't go through. P11! And we are out in Sprint Qualifying 2 for the Chinese Grand Prix. I spoke too soon. I thought we made it. And now we pay the ultimate price. Well, yeah, utterly bizarre. Utterly bizarre, the end of Sprint Qualifying there. So nice to see with a new format that Cody's EA have done a fantastic job with making sure it works. I mean, the gaps further down the order are just hilarious. But we line up then P11 ready for the Chinese Grand Prix. I believe, though, for the first time this year, it is just the big 5 teams that made it into that final knockout session. But yeah, we've got our work cut out. Of course, we need a top 8 in the sprint if we want to score points.
So it is all about speed in today's sprint. Not very many laps and no chance to get ahead on strategy. Who here today has the raw skill to take them to the top? Shanghai International Circuit then is a 16-corner high-speed thrill ride. The long and ever-tightening right-hander at turns 1 and 2 tests the driver's patience, and the flat open to the element's location tests their skill in a crosswind. 2 DRS zones will assist passing, and they're available into turn 1 and down the kilometre-long back straight into turn 14. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting sprint. World champion Max Verstappen starts from pole position. Charles Leclerc alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Oscar Piastri, Hamilton, Perez, Russell, Sainz, Norris, Fernando Alonso, Stroll, Mr. Monaco, Albon, Bottas, Joe, Sargent, Ocon, Tsunoda, Gasly, Ricciardo, Nico Hülkenberg rounds off the grid. Which of these drivers will get pole position today? We will soon find out. We welcome to the commentary box Anthony Davidson. I'm Alex Jakes. We're both looking forward to a really intriguing race today. So, a sprint race today, and that means lights to flag, no stops. And how is that going to affect the driver behind the wheel?
Absolutely. So for today, there's no pit stop, or shouldn't be a pit stop anyway, if things go right, and you can forget about strategy. You're just driving today as fast as you can, make those overtakes if you need to, and that's what a sprint weekend's all about.
Right, Mark here. Can you hear me? Good luck today. We can make a top 10 position, so give it 100%.
Well, both Mark there and Anthony Davidson all very energetic and excited for our first ever sprint inside F124. 10 laps ahead of us. We've got to be aggressive at the start here. We've got 4 cars from 4 different teams making up the top 4, but we've got to try and move past the Aston Martins and maybe Sergio Perez if he's struggling here early on in this GP. 5 red lights here in Shanghai. And it's not a long hold at all there. And Alonso, the wily old fox, has been caught out having to dip wheels on the grass to get around the Spaniard as we make our way in towards turn 1. That was certainly scary as I go 3 wide with the AI in towards that first corner. Luckily, we do find a little bit of grip in the end there and even have a look round the outside of his Aston Martin teammate. And like I said at the start, we need to try and move past those Aston Martins if we want any chance of scoring points here. And Stroll says otherwise as we'll try and switch him down the hill in towards the hairpin. We have to get the elbows out at the start of this one. Track position is so important here, I'm sure. As Verstappen still leading the way then up the hill. You can see Russell and Norris the old sparring partners in Formula 2 all those years ago, side by side. And oh, Russell, not afraid to make it very clear to his good friend there that he is taking command of that 7th position there. Drama at the start here in Shanghai. So everyone very, very slow in towards the snail section there. So we'll try and capitalise, as that was Leclerc and Piastri, I believe, that caused all of the concertina. And up Norris again, seemingly put in a bit of compromised position though. But as we make our way out onto this massive back straight there, trying to use the battery where possible. And Lando Norris just with slightly more top-end speed than myself here. We've still got the Aston Martins looking for it. Oh, around the outside of Lando, who makes even more contact with the Mercedes driver. And Charles Leclerc, I think, now has finally completed the move. And how many times have I said this so far in this game? Drama behind Max Verstappen. He has gone.
Use DRS when you're within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
Well, it will be interesting to see where the DRS trains form today. I'm hoping we can get ourselves into one. Maybe between Russell and Sainz would be ideal. Oh, we went so aggressive on lap 1 that already just having to manage the battery a little bit here. Luckily, Lance Stroll doesn't seem to have much, if any, more top-end speed than us. Ferrari power unit working well in the back of this Haas car. So we've got to try and defend from him as best as we can. Like I said, you know, really just see kind of what forms in front. Charles Leclerc, though, he is looking racy here. A second quicker than Max Verstappen. I got no idea what that was. Load of carbon fibre kicked up down towards turn 1. Maybe someone's picked up damage. Maybe it's just a weird graphical bug. Well, Charles Leclerc then really does mean business here as we get to half distance in Shanghai. Taking the lead off of Max Verstappen. It might actually be trying to break out of the DRS range. No idea what that line was by myself down at the first turn. But again, it's just another race for us of just trying to hang in the DRS early on. Trying to see what sort of happens between the AI. I don't think we're going to see any kind of breakaways in that train either. Sainz and Russell both definitely look vulnerable. But we just can't really recharge the battery pack here either. Definitely one of the worst circuits for ERS management. Well, there's definitely a couple of places around this lap where we can try and challenge Lando here, but only when we really get it nailed. I'm starting to wonder whether our best course of action, if I get a look in, is basically just try and get him away from those cars in front. You know, try and break that DRS train off so he's really left with nothing to defend himself. The only thing I'm worried about, yeah, is the AI straight line speed here. Absolutely phenomenal. We'll definitely have to take a little bit of wing off as we go into the Grand Prix, as we've got way more grip through the corners, but nothing down that back straight. Our final lap then here from Shanghai. Is this race going to build up to any sort of crescendo? Max Verstappen still tucked in second place behind Charles Leclerc, but I wonder if he's just been saving his battery, biding his time to try and snooker away the sprint victory here. Of course, he's taken the checkered flag in every race we've done so far this season. I don't know about you guys whether we count a sprint under that or not, but it might finally be someone else's day here. But, I mean, this is just the absolute nightmare for Formula 1, isn't it? First sprint of the season, and it has been an absolute snoozer. And, well, yeah, well, I mean, I don't think we can actually remove him from career mode either, so can't really do a lot about it. As I think Charles Leclerc's safe, though. I think it's actually the battles going on behind him that are kicking off towards the end of this race there, as I think Oscar Piastri has just completed the move on Lewis Hamilton there. But through the final corner, Charles Leclerc is going to be our first sprint winner of 2024. For us, it is so close to points, but so far away, it is P9.
So, with the sprint concluded, join us next time for qualifying and, of course, the main event, this weekend's Formula 1 Grand Prix. We will see you next time.
Well, we can only hope that the Grand Prix is a little bit more interesting than that. Charles Leclerc, though, your sprint winner for the first time this season. And yeah, I don't know what it was. Max Verstappen seemingly had a much slower best lap than pretty much anyone else in this GP. But it's not the Dutchman for the first time all year round. Then Carlos Sainz actually made decent progress as well, from 7th on the grid up to P5 there. And we also able to make up 2 places. The pass on the grass, I think, was about the only exciting thing for us during that GP. And everyone was in the DRS train, with the exception of Nico Hülkenberg, until the end of that one. So hopefully he can do a little bit better. But yeah, let's head on then into qualifying for the main event.
Well, here we go again. Welcome back to Shanghai. Welcome back to qualifying in China. And this is a technical, tricky track. Whoever takes pole is going to deserve it.
Well, that is a very, very cool little attention to detail then. Obviously, after sprint race earlier on, we've gone back out into real qualifying, and the car actually still maintaining a little bit of sort of dirt and grime on it from the racing action earlier on. I mean, if I was a Formula 1 team, I would surely be trying to get rid of as much of that as I can. You know, all those little bits of weight surely add up together to make a little bit of a difference over the course of the laps here. But of course, now we've kind of already got a benchmark in our eye about sort of what position we want to be aiming for on the grid. I have lowered the wing angle though, so whether that's going to help or hinder us in qualifying, it's kind of pretty much entirely focused on what we can do for the race. Well, I've saved a lot of my battery then, trying out some different tactics here as we make our way out into the back straights. We're going to try and use loads of it. Really pick up a lot of speed there down in towards the final corner. 204 miles an hour. We nudged through there, but it's not enough against the Ferrari car. Is that Charles Leclerc? Is it Carlos Sainz? It is Leclerc, so our winner from the sprint earlier on is actually going to use me for some slipstream around the lap there. We get hit with a wash of understeer through the final corner. Not an ideal way to end the lap, and the time showcases that. 6/10 slower than Hulkenberg. Well, nice to see Hulkenberg able to shift himself out of last place for the first time so far this season, but we'll see how many other drivers can improve by the end of qualifying. Obviously, I'm hoping Leclerc, I mean, he did definitely cost us a bit of time towards the end of the lap, but hopefully we can try and hook it up a little bit more. We need a good 7-8 tenths though here. It's not a small margin. Well, I've got to hope that Williams of Logan Sargent comes in handy towards the end of the lap. I'm going to struggle. It's Yuki Tsunoda in the V-Carb car, but we are not finding anything at the moment. Esteban Ocon, P16, is about 7 tenths up on me as we make our way out onto the back straight. All of the time surely is going to be found at the end of the lap, as we'll try and get as much slipstream as we can off of Yuki, pulling to the outside of the V-Carb. As what's he doing? He's trying to dive bomb me down at that final corner. Very odd little attempt there. I mean, surely that would be a penalty IRL.
And we're in the drop zone. We need a quick lap, or that's qualifying over for us.
At the final corner, up towards the line. It's only good enough for P17, and both laps we got impeded by AI drivers, and we are out in Q1 for the first time ever. Well, Charles Leclerc fastest at the end of that session by just 9 thousandths of a second over Max Verstappen, so maybe there is a fight between those two as we head into the rest of the weekend there. But Tsunoda, what he did then at the end of that session meant he made it into Q2, so not sure how I feel about that one ethically. But yeah, we're going to have to start then from P17 on the grid. Like I said, nice to see Hulkenberg delivering a little bit more, but will he carry that momentum into the GP?
The Chinese Grand Prix then is upon us once again. A race that saw Michael Schumacher claim his final Formula 1 victory in 2006, as well as Red Bull's first with Sebastian Vettel in 2009. There's no doubt plenty more drama to come here in Shanghai. We start a lap here at Shanghai with the long, difficult right-handers of turns 1 and 2, the first of 16 corners that make up this 3.3-mile circuit. The incredibly long back straight provides the best passing opportunity of the lap, with speeds in excess of 200 miles per hour before we head into the braking zone of turn 14. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he'll start from pole position. And Lando Norris lines up alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Sainz, Leclerc, Perez, Russell, Oscar Piastri, Hamilton, Fernando Alonso, Stroll, Albon, Zhou, Bottas, Gasly, Tsunoda, Mr. Monaco, Hulkenberg, Sargent, Ricciardo, and Esteban Ocon lines up at the back of the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track. Welcome to the commentary box. I'm Alex Jakes, delighted to say joining us for this intriguing race is Anthony Davidson. Things seem comfortable, they seem stable right now, that's a positive, but do they need to be pushed to the next level.
But that's the thing, you know, as a driver, it's easy to feel like you're the individual, it's all about you, and, you know, you want to further your career the best you can, but you have to have the team hat on as well and play the team game, work with your teammate as best you can. It's not an easy balance to figure out.
We were so close to earning some points last time out. Let's see if we can get some here.
Then that's actually pretty good this year. Seems that the radio messages are a little more dynamic. And obviously, yeah, maybe Anthony Davidson worried. I mean, it's kind of the first time we've seen Hulkenberg on track all year. So I'm praying that we don't have a collision down towards turn 1. We're going to go with an aggressive overcut strategy today. Obviously, we saw in the sprint and in basically every other race we've done so far that the AI really do clump together. So I'm hoping if we can hang with some cars on the hard tyres, and maybe we can switch them later on in the GP when we make the move over to mediums then. But we're waiting on those 5 red lights here for the Chinese Grand Prix. It's a mighty long haul, but it is lights out, and away we go. They're actually doing very, very well on the traction. Yuki Tsunoda pulls alongside his former teammate in Pierre Gasly as we make our way down in towards turn 1, and let's just kind of see what we can do there. Oh, I saw one of the Mercs moving around a little bit, so I wanted to have a look at the inside of Pierre. Can still see Yuki though around his outside, so we're going to try and make it 3 wide through the first couple of corners. Gasly decides he doesn't want anything to do with that one, so Yuki and I there will make the moves happen. And up into P15 then. Let's try and send it on the V-carb. A little bit careful there. Do not want to go into the back of Valtteri Bottas's diffuser. Of course, could be my teammate in the near future if we decide to make that move over to Kickstake Sauber, whatever we're calling them. But as we make our way then through the S's, lap 1, we've made up a couple of places once again. Looks like we got quite an even split between medium and hard runners. There is the Merc still side by side. I just see the AI there going 3 wide as we make our way down the back straight. But this is certainly putting on a show early on there, as I believe that's Oscar Piastri trying to make a double overtake down at the end of the hairpin. We get a huge, bizarre moment of oversteer there, as here comes Tsunoda trying to look around my outside through the final turn. Definitely not going to let that happen.
DRS now available.
But instantly then, if you're one of those Ferraris, Red Bulls, or I believe Lando, Norris, up in the front group, you've been given a lifeline here. Mercedes have tripped everyone else up, and suddenly this works beautifully for us. Okay, the AI actually putting a little bit of a fight on here. Stroll and Alonso side by side down at the hairpin. Zhou Guanyu trying to move forward in his home Grand Prix as well. So for the first time this season, are we potentially going to see the AI actually spread out a little bit and have some more dynamic pace? They all seem to have pretty much gone back in line pretty quick. This is why I try not to believe. Oh, hello. Hello, Yuki Tsunoda again? He must have his aggression stat set to about 6,000 here, because he's going for dive bombs and overtaking maneuvers just about anywhere he can at the moment. Carlos Sainz now has built up a bit of a gap at the front as well there, as it seems like Leclerc and Lando going side by side through those first couple of turns. So clearly then, I think because some AI have started on mediums and others have gone hards, we've actually got a little bit of an offset strategy here, which is working out wonders for a race that might not be just one massive train. Well, I tell you what as well, early on though, with those AI being on the mediums, we are really struggling to stay inside the DRS range. Luckily, so I brought down both wings by about 4 degrees, so we are able to hang a little bit closer and under less pressure when we go down the straights. I don't know suddenly why, though, I'm struggling so badly for the balance down at the hairpin. That's the second time the car's done that. In good news, though, tyre wear actually looking pretty manageable here.
Okay, mate. Engine's running very hot. Engine's running hot. Let's try and keep it cooler.
First challenge of the day, then. I'll be honest, doing the sprint race earlier on, I kind of completely forgot these were still a thing. So I assume you don't get any of them in a sprint. But again, nice to have something to aim for whilst we basically just sit where we are. Well, I'm also very interested to know then, we saw even by the end of lap 8 yesterday, we were struggling on the tyres in sprint racing. Are we going to see that same thing fall on the medium runners early on as well during this GP? We seem to have closed back in on Tsunoda ever so slightly. I'm just getting worried.
Overtake, use overtake.
Yeah, you can see Mark already now telling me we need to get on with it. I'm just getting a little bit worried monitoring some of the gaps. Bottas and Zhou, for example, perhaps struggling to keep up with the cars in front of them. Oh, Yuki as well. He's not too far away from Bottas at the moment, but he's definitely struggling more than I would like to see. Can we get a run on him as we make our way down this back straight? We can try and be brave on the brakes. Oh, a little bit of front lock in there as we go for a very aggressive dive bomb on Yuki Tsunoda.
Keep going.
Team happy with it, so I guess we'll take it there, and careful that we are still in the range of Bottas in front for the first time this weekend, not on lap 1.
Really good job on hitting that target, mate.
We can actually start making some overtakes here. And Bottas now then, 9 tenths away from Alex Albon as we make our way down the back straight. That's kind of the gap I feel that we need to try and make something happen here. So I'll have a look down the inside of the Flying Finn, who clearly doesn't see me there on the inside of him at that final penultimate corner. Happy to turn in on an apex. I mean, we didn't have much of the car, if any, alongside. And luckily we were able to back out of that. And now he's got no DRS himself back down towards turn 1. So this is now or never kind of stuff in this Grand Prix. Where do we go? We'll try and run deep on the entry and then switch to the inside of him there. Little blip of throttle through the midway point of the corner, and we do make it through. That's one of those moments where I love the snail section here. Oh no, we can't get back with Albon.
By 5.1 seconds.
Bottas again, we'll say thank you very much to get back around the outside, and we're going to have to try and do the same move we did a lap ago on the Flying Finn there. This is really not working out for us at the moment. Albon desperately trying to find a way around Zhou, so I think, yeah, those Kick Sauber cars, their tyres are gone. Unfortunately, ours aren't doing much better. 50% wear already, and we're only on lap 11. Again, tyre management has not been our strong point today. Oh, here we go. This is good for us. Zhou and Albon side by side as they make their way down in towards the hairpin this time around. So I think Albon fed up of waiting behind that Kick Sauber, and now as they make their way in towards the final corner, still side by side there. I've got no idea how long Zhou and Bottas want to make their tyres last, as they're both staying out for at least one more. Albon back to the outside again as they make their way in towards that first braking zone, and we've just got to utilise this. Look at how quickly the delta's coming down to the pair of them here. Is Albon going to make it work all the way around the outside there? This is a fantastic little wheel-to-wheel battle that we haven't seen much of so far in this game. Albon, very aggressively slams the door shut in Zhou Guanyu's face, but he's not done with it. Zhou trying to look back around the outside as we make our way into the hairpin. Ignore me having a huge lock-up behind them. They're still side-by-side on the exit of the corner there. This is fantastic racing between Alex Albon and Zhou Guanyu.
Saving some ERS, so let's try and charge it up now.
Yeah, not really sure I'm going to be able to do a lot of that at the moment. Marcus finally, Zhou Guanyu backs out of that. They were side by side for nearly an entire lap here. That's what you want to see more of. Oh, here we go. Zhou again. He's going to look for it. Albon's going to go defensive down in towards the hairpin. And you can see that time around. I think Zhou Guanyu, I reckon he's trying to peel into the pit lane there. Didn't fancy going side by side with the Williams in towards the final corner. He again stays out. How good are Alfa Romeo on their tyres at the moment? I'm sorry, I keep calling them Alfa Romeo. They are Sauber. You know, old habits die hard and all that. But you can see again, Zhou really checking up under the back of the Williams. And we're going to try and say thank you very much there. Up the inside we'll go. If you're going to be patient, I won't return the favour. Home Grand Prix or not, I'll be to P12 at long last. But Stroll...
Nice work.
Stroll now, 4.6 seconds up the road. We're going to need a miracle if we want to get back to him. Finally, we are going to see our first medium compound runner in, and it is one of the Ferraris. I believe that might be Charles Leclerc. So, I mean, how on earth the AI have been able to do that, I will never know. Our front tyre already at 60% as well, so I wanted to try and get to the end of 17. I think we're going to have to scrap that plan and try to come in one lap earlier. But now we're battling for the final points-paying position. But yeah, we need a lot to change if we want that to be the case by the end of the afternoon. Ooh, there we go. Oh, Alex Albon into the pit lane then. Throws me off slightly from my own line here as we need to try and go one more lap. So we're going to see, yeah, more hard runners in. How on earth is everyone else doing so well on their tyres? Is this just a trait of a Haas car? Is it just something I've been really bad with today? I don't know. But either way, I feel like we have really, really struggled all weekend long we're keeping the rubber in good nick here. We're going to try and move the brake bias around slightly, as Hulkenberg still hasn't pit either.
6.0 seconds.
Well, into the pits we must go then. Sergio Perez boxing him from the lead, so no one has been able to go more than 16 laps, but this still feels very, very aggressive to be moving over to the mediums for the second half of the race. That was close. That was really, really close there. Charles Leclerc, he's going to re-emerge at the front of the field then. Hulkenberg's dived in. That is a real, real shame for us as a team, because of course he might get held up a little bit, but where are we going to come back out?
Let's go now, come on. Perfect job on the turn in there, mate. Looks like a nice stop time. We're happy with that one. Look after these
Oh, that is not good.
Finish the race on this compound.
That is really not good for us. Joe, Albon and Bottas have all made a bit of an undercut. And now we are 3 seconds back. Is that game over? I need to see Albon. Oh, beautiful. As I say that, Alex Albon trying to do me a solid here, battling with Valtteri Bottas down the back straight. Verstappen has gone in hot pursuit of that Ferrari at the front of the field. But yeah, I mean, these are critical laps in this Grand Prix. If we can't get back with Zhou in kind of the next 3 or 4 laps, and I don't think we've really got a chance here. We have definitely got a pace advantage, but it won't last for long. Well, that's always a good extra bit of motivation then. We are really just trying to close in on Zhou. We've definitely got a couple of extra tenths on him. But of course we know after about 6 or 7 laps, the advantage the mediums have got will evaporate. I'm also trying to be careful on the tyres, so we are managing everything right now. That gap though, we need another second by this point of the lap, because we lose a good half a second down the back straight. Well, I have found a new interesting little strategy as well to utilise on this game. Once you get up into 8th gear, if you just use a little splash of extra energy, you actually keep the top speed that you retain, and then go back and charge in the battery pack. It doesn't make a huge difference, but it's certainly useful when you're not in the DRS window of the next car in front. But honestly, I can feel the tyres starting to struggle more and more. We've not got much time left to try and get with Zhou, otherwise it's just simply never going to happen. Oh, I think we just did it. I think we were just there for a split second inside the range of Zhou Guanyu. We sent it over the curbing out onto that little split point there. And yes, we have, finally. We have fought our way back into the DRS range. It's not over yet, though. We could very easily lose it again, and I think we will for the start-finish line. Quick little blast. But that is so important late on in the day, not only for this race, but knowing in the future that we have got that fight in the car as well. This, I mean, we're probably not going to score points unless someone up the road has a retirement. But that is really, really good with 6 laps to go. Thinking about it, no one, I think, yet has retired from any race in this series. Reliability inside F1 24, fantastic. Or EA forgot to enable it. Just done the maths as well. We might have pushed on quite a lot to make sure we got back in the range. In fact, so much so that our tyres, at the rate we're going, are going to be about 90% wear by the end of this race. So now we're back in the range. I think we've got to just calm it down for a few laps. Charge up the battery pack. And wait and see whether Albon and Bottas start battling. I think, honestly, our best shot is probably down in towards turn 1.
Well done, let's try and get past in the DRS zone.
Really see if we can take Zhou by surprise, which we're going to try and look to do here. We'll hold and hug the apex on the inside. You can just see there as the Kicksauer driver spots me. We'll make the move happen. Back into P13 we go. But our tyres are at 59%. 4 laps with a tyre wear warning. We might genuinely get a puncture.
Be aware, these tyres need to get us to the end of this race.
As soon as Mark tells us that, yep, that warning light flashes up. I'm still trying to figure out, of course, how we can best maximise our finishing position today. And I think we need to try and go for a similar move on Bottas to what we did to Zhou Guanyu just 1 lap ago. However, Bottas seems to be getting more and more feisty about trying to make a move on Albon before the end of the race. So we'll have to wait and see how it pans out between these two. Here goes Bottas to the inside of the Williams, down in towards the hairpin. Zhou Guanyu trying to make something happen as well, as there was contact between the Williams and the Sauber in front of me. Somehow I think they both got away without any front wing damage. Damage model definitely seems to be more sensitive this year, but the AI able to get away with it. Here goes Bottas again, though, looking to the inside, down in towards turn 1. 2 laps to go. of the Chinese Grand Prix. Will Albon be able to hang it around the outside? Will Bottas be able to make the move stick on tyres that perhaps now are hanging on a little bit better? Albon, whoa, blast the throttle down to get ahead of Bottas. He tries to move back over to the racing line there and almost tips me into a spin. Look at this, both of them desperate to defend into the hairpin. It's deja vu from the battle we saw earlier on, but I tell you what, I'd rather have racing like this than us all stuck in a DRS stream from light stuff lag there. Bottas down the inside. Albon, it'll move back to the inside for the second part of the corner, and he will hang on once again there. Stout defence by the Williams driver, as we've got just over 1 lap to go with this Grand Prix. We can see our car sliding around so much. Oh no, Zhou Guanyu's got a good run on me. Are we about to become under some pressure from the Chinese driver in his home Grand Prix? I certainly know who the fans are going to be rooting for there, as Zhou Guanyu will try and make the move work around my outside there. We'll just about able to get in front of him on the exit of the corner. 1 more lap to go. It's not for a point, but we've got a 4-way scrap here for P11 in this GP.
Final lap of the race, final lap.
And it's races like this that make you realise why people want to see points down to P12, because that's exactly the position we're going to try and go for. Down the inside of Bottas, mount the curbs as best as we can there. Again, another very robust move in this Grand Prix. And now, obviously, Alex Albon won't have any DRS down the back straight. Tyres, though, 80% on that front left. This is really turned into a drive until the tyres explode challenge here late on in the day. Look at that, Zhou Guanyu trying to make a move on his teammate down at the hairpin there. They're going to be side by side as we make our way into the S's, and maybe are about to cost each other here as that inter-team battle. Obviously already rumours that we could be heading to Kick Sauber, so clearly both drivers desperate to showcase themselves as the number one within the team. We need to try and hang close enough though to Alex Albon as we head through the snail section here if we want any chance at a run on him down the back straight. I'm not a betting man, but if I had to guess which Red Bull it is in the lead of this Grand Prix, surely my money is going to be on Max Verstappen there, as a Ferrari now has been able to get between them. Will it be the Dutchman taking his 5th victory in a row? No, it's not. Sergio Perez finally puts an end to Max Verstappen's reign of terror at the start of this year. We thought about going for a send on Albon down at the final corner. It's actually going to compromise my line on the exit, because now we've got Zhou Guanyu trying to fight me for it. It's not been the race we would have wanted, but it has been an absolute barnstormer out of the final corner. It is P12.
There'll be smiles at the factory after that one. A great race and a real team performance to take victory here in Shanghai.
You always look back at a race like this and think, if I'd just made that mistake there or locked up here, there would have been contact. And every one of those overtakes is a moment where you have to absolutely nail it, perfect it, and that's exactly what they were able to do today. Great stuff indeed.
The drivers are en route to the podium as we speak. What a fantastic win for the Red Bull team. They've performed exceptionally today, keeping us firmly on the edge of our seats throughout the entirety of the race. Congratulations to everyone at the team.
Well, I tell you what, it's a good job I'm not a betting man then in the end. Sergio Perez finally ends Max Verstappen's reign of dominance at the start of this year. The Dutchman only good enough for P3 at the end of the afternoon there. But yeah, Perez from 5th on the grid, making it work in the end there. Lando Norris left to wonder what could have been today. 2nd on the grid, a front row start to 6th place come the checkered flag there. But that goes to show when there is a bit of an alternate strategy at play, when the AI are, you know, really stretching out a one stop as well, there can be some interesting battling if they do fan out a little bit there. And I think that honestly has got to be the most fun we've had towards the end of a race so far this season. P12 in the end, ahead of Zhou Guanyu and Valtteri Bottas. Only Alex Albon, the only backmarker, able to get the better of us. And Nico Hulkenberg finally doesn't finish last, which I think is good news in of itself as well so far this season. Taking a look at the Drivers' Championship, though, Verstappen still with a 54-point lead over Carlos Sainz. There is Perez will re-jump Lewis Hamilton for P4 overall. Alonso still ahead of Norris there, and you can see we are still ahead of Lance Stroll on countback, but I think that's probably going to be over within the next couple of weekends. Constructors-wise, it's 7th place. I think we're going to say that all year long, to be completely honest with you as well, as McLaren are closing the gap on Mercedes to just 11 points there. But thank you all so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourself subscribed, and we'll be back later on today when Formula 1 returns ready for our second sprint weekend, ready in Miami.